What's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Screen Energy. I'm your host, Age, and with me is Mike. Mike, what's up?
What's up, Big Mike from Big Mike's Real Reviews?
All right, we got Kai today. What's up, Kai?
Hey, what's going on? You know what it is.
And we are going to give you our first impressions of one of the biggest movies. Well, Mando Grogu kind of started off the summer, but I think if you really want to kick this one in the high gear and everything, we're going to start with Masters in the Universe. I think Masters in the Universe is probably going to be one of the bigger movies this summer. So I'm actually going to pass over to Kay. Let Kay start first. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, as a bastard child of the 80s who was definitely in the age group to be mashing together my Masters of the Universe action figures, I definitely had a good time with this movie. I think it works just as well, even if you're not a fan of this, because it really is sort of touching on that broad spectrum of 80s fantasy that you see in stuff like Flash Gordon and even Legend, even though some people aren't necessarily keen on Legend, but a lot of people still do kind of like that film. But you do have just a vibrant, colorful aesthetic to this. No one should be complaining about desaturated colors or anything in this film.
No, it was very colorful.
Yeah.
You know,
color.
And then you also have the fact that the director, Travis Knight, he's just really wearing his love of Flash Gordon on his sleeve. That Sam Jones film from like 1980, I think.
Yep.
Because because they really went for it in terms of saying, all right, if we can't have the entirety of Queen with the passing of Freddie Mercury back in the early 90s, we're going to at least get Brian May to accompany the composer of this film.
Yeah.
And just give you that straight 80s power arena rock style score that really fits the tone that they're going for with this film. And
that electric guitar was amazing.
I thought the performances were solid. I was genuinely surprised by Jared Leto as Skeletor, because he was kind of like one of the main standouts of the film for me.
The standout for me.
Yeah. All right, Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it was a very fun ride. Like Kyle said, to me, Jared Leto as Skeletor was literally the standout. He disappeared in this role. If you didn't know initially going into this that was Jared Leto, you would never know. Like, there's a lot of hate online, of course, with Jared Leto. I necessarily don't have the same hate, even though, like, with the Joker stuff, a lot of the stuff from the Ayers cut of Suicide Squad that we didn't get, he poured a lot into that role that was cut. So we don't really have, that role that he actually played as the Joker. So everybody's like, oh, he sucked. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't particularly like his portrayal either, but, we didn't really see like the full thing.
Right.
But to this one, like, I just feel like he really poured everything into this, and he ate up every scene he was in. Mm-hmm. He was literally the standout of the entire movie, but also he disappeared in it to where if you didn't know that this was Jared Leto, you would be looking it up like, who is Skeletor? Like, who is this guy?
Right.
That is the crescendo. Yeah, if we don't get a t-shirt by the end of the summer, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like I'm somewhat of the lone voice on this. It's not that I didn't like it, but I didn't entirely like it. Well, actually, it's kind of the other way around. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I think that's the best way.
That's fair.
Because
that's fair.
You two guys were able to get into Masters of the Universe at its peak when it came out. For me, that was just slightly past my generation, because we all know between G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, to an extent, I want to say Thundercats, but Thundercats is kind of the outlier.
Yeah.
All of those cartoons back in the day were 30-minute toy advertisements.
Yeah.
And they were freaking brilliant.
Yeah, they were just trying to sell toys, really.
Right. But everything you guys said, I think the one thing that I was just kind of like about, I wasn't crazy about and I keep butchering his name,
Galitzine.
Yeah, Galitzine, yeah.
I wasn't put this way. I was sold on his performance of Adam and He-Man for this generation, for a new generation that's coming
fair.
up.
That's fair.
For this, for them to get into Masters of the Universe, I was sold on his performance long enough to like grasp that generation. But from where we came, because we talked about it before we went in, but for what we got back in the day, I was like, I was hoping for a little less emo, a little less, want to run into daisies, because there's literally a part in the movie where instead of him bashing heads, he's like, "Can we talk?" And I was like, "Oh."
But yes, but it does make sense for like you said, for now, right?
Yeah.
Because he came up more so in this generation, and he was a human resources guy, right?
Yeah.
So he wanted to talk it out at first. But then when it was like, well, there's no room for talking, he was like, "All right, then.
I'm gonna throw hands."
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw them hands then.
Yeah.
So I was all right with it.
And he was still coming, and see, that was the other thing. He was still coming into his power. So he was still, not always winning the hand-to-hand battle. But really quick before we wrap, let's not forget Idris Elba, who I thought, put this way, you would think by now, you give something like that to an actor that's been around for a bit, they'd phone it in.
No. He was having a ball making this movie. You could tell. He was loving it.
And the young lady that played Tila,
Camila Mendes.
Camila Mendes,
yes, good roles. Now, the last thing I want to wrap on before we leave is the main thing I do want to stress. If you got little kids, take precautions. This movie is rated PG-13 for a reason, because there's some language, there's some
innuendos.
There's some innuendos.
I ain't gonna get the innuendo. And again, speaking for my generation, as far as like 80s stuff, we had a little show called Inhumanoids. Remember that show?
Yes.
The evil that lies within, where it's just nightmare ass creatures tearing limbs off of each other and everything. Yeah, that ran on, like, if not Saturday mornings, then weekday mornings before you went to school.
Yeah, but again,
even if you think about it, like any of the old properties back then, like our kid stuff is so much different from like today's kid stuff.
But that's what I'm saying.
It was always very adult for us.
Right, but this generation, some parents might have a problem.
That gentle parenting, yes,
with a character named Fisto.
All right, scale of 1 to 10, Mike, what you got?
1 to 10, I give it a 7.
All right, Kaede.
I'm about around a 7.5.
Okay, good. Well, we all kind of we all align. So for this generation, it's a solid 7.5. For me, about a 5.
Oh, okay.
It's about a 5.
So, damn, that's cold.
Yeah. Cold-blooded.
So on that note, that's our first impression. I would still say see it, because I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum. You might really enjoy it.
Right. And I feel like this one's a hate it or love it.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, we out.
Peace.